Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Let's Vibe, the channel all about crystals and our feelings. So, Happy New Year! It's 2025, and I've I definitely feel like the energy shifted yesterday, or yesterday, um, into the new year. Because in previous years, like last year and I think the year before that, the energy of the year really extended into the next year. Like, it felt like it took the energy some time. So it was like maybe in February when the energy of the new year came in. That's how I felt last year and the year before. Like there was a lag, but this New Year's, I really feel like the energy shifted right on the dot, with January 1st. And there's a whole lot there's a whole lot to say about 2025 with the astrology, the transits that we'll be moving through, and the whole spiritual community is talking a lot about the changes of this year. And I kept putting off this video. Like, I thought about making it earlier, and then I decided not to, and then I thought of it again, and then again. And so about the third or fourth time, I decided, okay, I think I should make this video. And I mean, it's not like this is some difficult or heavy topic or anything, but I just thought it was interesting. It kept popping up, like, okay, I'll make the video. So I wanted to talk about a very unusual stone. It's not technically a crystal, but it certainly looks like a crystal. And I just feel like with all the weirdness, the newness, the craziness that's going on in our world today, and with just the changing energies, I felt like maybe this is a good time to talk about this really odd stone. And that stone is Andara. It goes by Andara glass, or you might see it called Andara crystal. So what I have here is an Andara glass that's called Smokey Shaman. Now, Andara glass has a really interesting story around it in regards to how it was discovered and who discovered it. You can look it up online, but Andara glass was first discovered by a woman who was Native American. I think one tribe or part of her ancestry was Cherokee. I think she had some other native tribes in her ancestry, but she was a healer. I'm, of course, blanking on her name, but she was an energy healer, and she ended up moving at a certain point in her life. She moved to the Mount Shasta area in Northern California. And the story goes that she liked to walk through the mountains, through the forests in the mountains around Mount Shasta. And one day she felt an earthquake and went up into the mountains. Like, I think she felt led up into the forest in the mountains, and she discovered these many, many pieces of colored glass. And she experienced these glass pieces as very high vibration, very healing, and basically felt that she had discovered, believed that she had discovered a new crystal and a new healing energy that was being gifted to human beings. And I think there was more than one earthquake, but she went up into the mountains many times to gather all of these crystals, these pieces of glass. And if you look at Andara glass pieces, they come in all colors imaginable. They come in multicolored pieces, different shapes, sometimes very kind of unnatural shapes, meaning like some pieces have like square faces and you know, they look rectangular or cubic. Some pieces kind of look man-made, and that's so that kind of goes into, or brings us into, some of the controversy of Andara glass. And so many people, certainly, you know, mineralogists, is that the term? Gemologists, geologists, like people who really study the physical aspect of stones and crystals, certainly do not recognize Andara glass as something special. They consider it to be just slag glass, which is basically just the leftover waste of glass making. And so they believe that these pieces are just waste glass pieces that were thrown out at some point, you know, out in the woods. And so, and that's fine. I mean, obviously not everyone's connecting with stones and crystals on a subtle energetic level or on a spiritual level. But even within the metaphysical crystal community, the spiritual community, there's still some controversy around Andara glass, because apparently not everybody connects with the energy of these stones. And there's no particular reason why, or at least none that we know of, but it just so happens some people don't resonate with Andara glass. So I think even within the metaphysical community, there's some doubt about whether these glass pieces are genuine metaphysical energy stones or just regular old glass. It's funny, I saw I remember browsing Etsy one day and looking at Andara glass. These pieces are really expensive. I found this is a relatively small piece. They come in all sizes. There are some really large ones, and the larger ones are really expensive, into the thousands of dollars. This little Smokey Shaman was $60. So Andara, it's definitely more pricey, and it's definitely something that unless you really feel a resonance with these stones, you don't want to spend your money on it, because that's really how, well, the only way you can know if you can work with Andara is if you feel an energy, a resonance with it. And that's how you find the Andara glass piece that is for you, because the pieces that are for you are going to resonate very strongly. And so that's why I chose this one. Not, I mean, I did partly choose it or I was looking at it because it was on the cheaper end and smaller. I wanted a smaller piece. But I ultimately chose this piece because I really did feel a resonance with it. It was a very powerful energy that I picked up just by looking at this piece. So, all that being said, I was talking about Etsy. I was scrolling through Etsy, looking at Andara glass, and I came across this one seller who was selling this red glass sphere. And he called it, or she called it, red tanzanite, which sounds like the name of an Andara glass piece. That's often the names of these pieces are very similar to the names of other gems and crystals. So it sounded, and it looked, visually, it looked like Andara. I mean, it's just glass. It just looks like glass. And the name sounded like Andara, but I could tell it wasn't Andara glass because there was nothing coming off of that. There was no energy coming off of that piece. And I don't think it was simply, I wasn't connecting with that piece. No, I think it was genuinely just a piece of red glass in the shape of a sphere. And, to further convince me of that, just reading the description of the piece, it was very clear that the seller was not a believer in Andara glass, because they described it as, apparently this is a really special crystal, and it was obvious that they didn't know what Andara was. It didn't make sense to them, and they didn't believe it anyway. And so, since Andara is colored glass, they decided to just find a piece of red glass and call it Andara and sell it for a lot. And so that is obviously pretty tricky, rather deceiving, but you can tell what is actual Andara and what isn't by the energy, by the vibration. I think the same goes for any stone or crystal that is being imitated or is fake, you can really tell whether it's genuine by the energy coming off of it. And so I just thought it was funny that this person was rather blatantly trying to cash in on the Andara crystal thing by selling a piece of red glass. So just be aware if you're looking for Andara, if it is something you resonate with, just be aware that, not everyone believes that this is a real thing, and so they might try to pull a fast one. So be in tune with your intuition. Anyway, all that being said, what is Andara about? This is a very high vibrational stone. It's very mystical. Smokey Shaman certainly carries some mystical connotations. This one I definitely feel has a strong earth energy connection, much like smoky quartz, but this piece is like smoky quartz on an extraterrestrial level. And that's really how Andara comes across to me, is that it's a stone of extraterrestrial energies. it's a stone that connects with cosmic energies and collective consciousness, collectives out there in the universe that are far beyond Earth. And these stones connect with their wisdom and energy. And it's also said that Andara glass resonates with Lemurian energy and Atlantean energy and connects with those civilizations. So I experience this piece as very grounding and protective. And the truth is, I'm quite certain there's a lot about this stone that I don't yet know about, that I'm not yet aware of. I've had this for 4 or 5 years now, and I don't think I think there's still much to learn about this stone and about Andara glass in general. This stone Andara can resonate with all of your chakras. It can resonate with all of the signs of the zodiac, all of the elements. It's everything. It's a master healer stone. And Andara is very much used for healing purposes. And that's definitely what, the woman who found these pieces, that's what she experienced them as when she first discovered them. And that was her intention in gathering these stones and sharing them, was to spread this healing energy. So Andara glass is healing on all levels: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, earth healing, environmental healing, all of it. So it's a very universal kind of stone. And when I connect with my piece, and when I connect with the spirit, because, like I do with my other stones, I occasionally take time to connect with the spirit of this stone. And the spirit of this stone it turned out to be a collective. This collective calls themselves the Azozeo. And there's still a ton of... I haven't spent enough time with them to know a whole lot about them, but I would say that they are involved in assisting Earth. They're involved in assisting human beings and our spiritual evolution. I've, in some of my meditations with this stone and this collective, they've mentioned sending light to Earth for our healing, for our benefit. And overall, just a very intriguing, very peaceful, otherworldly kind of energy. And so I suspect a lot of Andara glass pieces connect with other collective consciousnesses from around the universe, or just around the galaxy. And yeah, Andara glass is very special. And I think it's worth checking out, even if, check it out just to see if you resonate with these glass pieces. I think it's worth experimenting and seeing how these pieces might affect your energy and how you might be able to use Andara glass. And you can do that just by going on Etsy or just on Google, looking up Andara, And looking at all the photos, you can pick up on the energy of the pieces through the pictures. So yeah, as far as a song, I mean, I think there's probably hundreds of songs that could fit with a piece like this, or a stone like this, because it is so expansive and universal. But the song that keeps coming to mind for me, and a song that I for some reason just feel is rather it's gonna sound funny. It kind of has this futuristic sort of energy to it, but try not to laugh. But the song that came up is Blue by Eiffel 65. I don't know, that song just, part of it is the music video, because the music video is all about these blue aliens in their little spaceship. But the song as a whole just gives me this futuristic techno vibe. And I just feel like, for me at least, this is the energy of my, or this resonates with the energy of this Smokey Shaman. So I will include a link to Blue by Eiffel 65 in the description box below. If you'd like to donate to the channel, I've got my Venmo and PayPal also in the description box. And please leave a comment or question. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for vibing with me.